Okay, so you know that thing you want, not the surface level thing, not the thing you tell people about, but the thing underneath, the thing you've been carrying quietly, the thing you've almost convinced yourself isn't realistic to want anymore. That thing, um, and here's what's wild about it. You've been so focused on it not happening, on managing your expectations around it, on protecting yourself from disappointment, that you've kind of stopped noticing what's actually building. Does that make sense to you? Like when you stare at something too hard, you actually stop seeing it clearly. You start seeing your own projections, your own fears, your own assumptions about why it can't happen. And meanwhile, something else is moving, something you're not tracking, something that's arranging itself in the background while you're busy looking somewhere else. Have you ever experienced that? Where you're convinced things are going one way and then suddenly, wait, that's not what's happening at all. That's not where this is going. Tell me in the comments if this feels familiar, because I think there's this phenomenon where the things we want most, we also watch them most carefully. We monitor them. We check in on them constantly. We analyze every little sign of whether they're getting closer or further away. And all that watching, all that monitoring, it actually creates blindness. You become so focused on whether the thing is happening that you stop seeing what's actually unfolding, you know? Um, and what I'm noticing right now is there's this energy of something unexpected, something you haven't been tracking, something that's been developing outside your awareness. And when it lands, when it becomes clear, your first reaction might be, wait, where did this come from? How did I not see this building? But that's exactly it. You didn't see it building because you were looking in a different direction. You were focused on a different possibility. You were managing your expectations around a different outcome. Does that make sense to you? It's like when you lose something and you search everywhere for it, every logical place, every place it should be. And then one day you're looking for something completely different, and there it is, right? Where you never thought to look. That kind of surprise. And the thing about these unexpected moments is they often feel more real than the things you've been chasing because there's no desperation around them, no forcing, no trying to make them happen. They just happen. Have you noticed that too? How the things that come when you're not watching for them often feel more aligned, more natural, more like they actually fit your life instead of requiring you to contort yourself to receive them, you know? And I think what makes something unexpected isn't that it came out of nowhere. It's that you weren't positioning yourself to receive it. You weren't looking for it in that form, from that direction, through that pathway. So when it shows up, it feels like a surprise, like something that just appeared magically. But really, it's been building. It's been moving toward you. You just weren't tracking it because you were focused elsewhere. Tell me in the comments if this feels familiar. And what's interesting about this kind of surprise is how it requires you to let go of control, to let go of the story you've been telling yourself about how things have to unfold. Because if you're gripping too tightly to one specific path, one specific outcome, one specific way things need to happen, you miss the things that are coming from unexpected angles. You miss the opportunities that don't look like you thought they would, the connections that don't develop the way you predicted, the solutions that don't match your mental image of what the solution should be. Does that make sense to you? And maybe right now you're in this space where you've kind of loosened your grip, where you've stopped monitoring so intensely, where you've given yourself permission to just be, to just exist without constantly calculating whether you're getting closer to what you want. And in that looseness, in that space, something can actually land, not because you manifested it, not because you did everything right, but because you created space for the unexpected by not being so rigidly focused on the expected, you know? And I think when these moments come, when something shows up that you genuinely didn't see coming, there's this recalibration that has to happen where you're like, wait, I prepared myself for disappointment. I prepared myself to keep waiting. I prepared myself for this to not work out. But I didn't prepare myself for it actually happening, especially not like this, especially not from this direction. Have you experienced that? This weird disorientation of getting what you want in a form you didn't anticipate and having to adjust your entire internal positioning because suddenly you're not in the state of wanting anymore. You're in the state of receiving. And receiving requires different skills than wanting does. Tell me in the comments if this feels familiar. Because wanting is familiar. You know how to want. You know how to hope. You know how to manage disappointment. You know how to protect yourself while still holding desire. But actually receiving something you've wanted, that's vulnerable in a completely different way because now it's real. Now it can be lost. Now you have to figure out how to hold it, how to appreciate it, how to let yourself have it without waiting for the other shoe to drop. Does that make sense to you? And I think what happens with unexpected things is they often bypass your defense mechanisms because you weren't braced against them. You weren't protecting yourself from them. You weren't even aware they were a possibility. So when they land in this unguarded space. And that can feel both incredible and terrifying. Incredible because it's pure. It's not filtered through all your protective strategies. It's not weighted down by all your past disappointments. But terrifying because you don't have your usual armor on. You don't have your usual story about why this probably won't work out. You're just there, open, available, receiving something you didn't see coming, and maybe that's where you are right now, or where you're about to be. In this space of recognizing that something is shifting in a direction you didn't predict. And part of you might be scrambling to catch up, to understand it, to figure out if it's real, to decide if you can trust it. But another part of you might just be stunned in a good way, in a way that feels like, oh, this is what it feels like when life surprises you in a positive direction instead of a disappointing one. Have you noticed that too? How rare it is to be genuinely surprised by good things. How used we get to expecting disappointment, that when something unexpectedly positive happens, we almost don't know how to process it. Tell me in the comments if this feels familiar. And I think what you're being asked to do right now is stay present, stay aware. Don't get so caught up in looking for what you think should happen that you miss what's actually happening. Because the unexpected thing, it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't come with a label that says this is the thing you've been wanting, just in a different form. It just shows up. And you have to be awake enough to recognize it when it does. Does that make sense to you? And maybe you've already seen glimpses of it. These little moments where you're like, wait, that's interesting. That's unexpected. I wasn't anticipating that. But you haven't connected the dots yet. You haven't seen the full picture of what's unfolding. And that's okay. You don't have to see it all at once. You just have to be willing to let it reveal itself. To let it develop without trying to control it or predict it or fit it into the box of what you thought you wanted. Because sometimes what we actually need is different from what we think we want. And the universe or life or whatever you want to call it, sometimes it delivers exactly what we need in a package we never would have requested, And the question is, can you receive it? Can you let yourself be surprised? Can you adjust your expectations to accommodate something better than what you were expecting? Or are you going to miss it because it doesn't look like the picture in your head? That's the real question, and only you can answer it. I don't sell